Welcome to a brand new wave, drowning out the noise that's tame. Liberty whispers through the brave, breaking free from every chain. Nullify the rules they crave, crypto beats that pave the way. Anarchy with minds that's safe, algorithms new dawn today. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride. Beyond control we take a stand, casting off the iron brand. Freedom flowing through our hands, revolution's our command. Decentralize the way we plan, all together we expand. Breaking shackles for the clan, in this journey we're on pan. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride.
Hey guys, you broke in through the VPN over Europe. Go ahead, see if you can connect over Tor. We'll see you in just a minute. Holy crap. You see what's going on over in Europe right now? You need to have an ID to go on Wikipedia. You need to have an ID to go on YouTube. What's going on? I don't know. We're going to find out. It's just me today, so let's jump on into it. Hold on just a second. We're going to watch a video from 6 Seconds and Hammer 666. I'll be right back.
All right, everyone, we have some disturbing news with the online world here. Link in the description, archived, of course. We desperately need an Internet Bill of Rights. This is something that Donald Trump had optioned, actually, along with reform of Section 230 when he ran for office. I'm really, really hoping that he gets to this. I realize that there are a lot of other things that you need to talk about. The border, for example. Wars breaking out across the world, tax relief and so forth. Those are all very meaningful. But for those of us who are part of the tech revolution, and there are many millions of us within the United States, one thing that we really, really need is the protection of online free speech. And the UK's Online Safety Act, unfortunately, appears to have metastasized. It's sort of like when you get stage 1 cancer and you're like, well, you know, it's only stage 1. But then you end up at stage 3 or something like that and you're like, fuck. That's basically what's happened with the UK's Online Safety Act. It has now metastasized to the point where US sites like YouTube are going to require ID in order to use their services fully. This is going to be a big hit to a lot of content creators with younger audiences, even where they're not actually underage. You know, they might be 20 years old or something like that, but YouTube's algorithm determines that they might be 17 and so it blocks them from watching your content. This is insane, actually, that this is happening, and it shouldn't be. And it's not just YouTube. There are several other US-based sites that are doing this, even though the law was passed in the UK. Well, let me ask you this. Am I a subject of the British royalty? Am I a subject of the crown? The answer, of course, is no. I do not owe any allegiance to the UK. I do not owe any patriotism towards England or anything like that. I have no problem with my English clankers or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But the government doesn't have any sway over me. It has no legal capabilities to prosecute me for, something that would be against the law in the UK. I can only be prosecuted by the US government or by the state of Vermont, I suppose. And I am at the moment, so that's quite funny. But the UK doesn't have any legal latitude over me. Nonetheless, as a content creator in an international market, you have foreign countries that are passing laws that are disproportionately affecting, because the US is a juggernaut with regards to content creation and things like that, is disproportionately affecting them. This is unacceptable. In my opinion, Donald Trump, because he owes in part his presidency to people online who were literally shit posting for him and making memes for him and things like that. And they did it for free. And we're basically like Jannies, I suppose, in that sense. It's just a funny inside joke. Never mind. I would say, if I was Donald Trump, lay off the content creators and pressure the British to be like, look, you don't have latitude over the people that are making content in our country. So this is absolute bullshit. And lean on.
Okay, a couple of different things to talk about here. Right now in Britain, if you go and contact the police from the United States or other parts of the world and basically shitpost about their laws and regulations, they say that they're gonna try to extradite you. Don't just trust me about this. Look this up yourself. There was a bunch of posts on 4chan about it a little while ago. So when he's talking about this, about how you have no allegiance, the state's laws, it's ever encroaching, it's ever growing. They're pressure testing, see what they can get away with. And so this is just another pressure test for them to see how far they can go, how much people will react, and how much they can like I said, get away with, in order to push the boundaries. It's like a lot like bracket creep in taxation. They set out a certain distance of regulations and things people don't even see coming, and then they slowly build it up in the same way that maybe wrestling, like they'll work out a long storyline, and they'll work and process it week by week, day by day, and then month by month. And then once it's become normalized, at that point they will go and just say, well, all these other people didn't complain, why are you complaining? You're a bad citizen. Let's get back into it. Hold on just a second.
On the tech firms too. That's another big thing. You got to realize, if you look at the Twitter files and things like that, and what Zuckerberg was saying to Joe Rogan in that interview and things of that nature, it seems like the US government had already been pressuring tech firms to censor US content creators. Now the UK is also going after VPNs. Apparently, there's been a massive surge in interest in VPNs as of this particular change, because guess what? People like pornography. They like to see naked people and fucking and stuff like that. It's just a truth. I mean, there's no moral reprehension behind it or anything like that. People fuck. It's just the way that it is. If they're not getting in-person fucking, then they substitute it with, not in-person fucking. That's basically just what they do. They've been doing this for a very long time. Trying to prevent this from happening at the government level is a losing proposition. It's not pragmatic. People will dig out the Playboys. People will look at fucking National Geographic. There are always going to be porn sites and pornographic posts on forums and shit like that. There's no way to prevent it. It makes no sense. And I've been arguing against this for years. You can think whatever the hell you want about pornography. It rots the mind. It rots the soul. It's a sin. It's a terrible thing. Fine, that's great. There's so much of it out there that there's nothing that any government can do to suppress its spread. It doesn't make any sense. To inconvenience the entire creator community as a result of the fact that porn exists on the internet doesn't make sense either. Basically, you've got a situation where they are doing the same thing that we've seen over and over and over again. Think of the children. Oh my God, Jimmy's only 17 and he just saw titties. Well, I mean, Jimmy probably saw titties years ago too, so there's nothing that you can do about it. You're inconveniencing a bunch of adults, people like myself. Like, I don't worry about YouTube's AI determining that I'm under 18 years old. I've got a beard and shit like that, so I don't have to worry about it. But at the same time, there will be people who look maybe younger than they are, and YouTube forces them to submit identification in order to actually participate on the website. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's a big difference between 12-year-old Jimmy over there and this dude who's 19, but he just happens to look young. And YouTube's not going to be able to make that differentiation. The AI system that they're going to employ is not sophisticated enough to actually do that. It's not going to happen. And so what you're really doing is inconveniencing millions and millions of adults across the world at the expense of, yeah, hey, maybe this kid, who is 17 years old is watching something lewd, like, one of those naked dress halls. That's become a meme as well. And I've seen some of those. That's basically the trade-off that you're getting. But really
Really, what he's talking about here is something that's been going on for a long time. In the 1800s, they had something called a Social Security movement, and you've heard of Kellogg's and stuff like that. Back in the 1800s, they thought that they could correct people's behavior and stop them from participating in content like this by forcing them to eat oatmeal. They could purify their souls, their actions, their behaviors, and it's really hundreds of years now, uh, a little over 100 years, a struggle session. You know, it's they think if they can erase the past, then they can use their leverage to rewrite people and reprogram people to better fit their mold of what a human being is and should be and ought to be and how they should act. It's not something that they've been able to successfully do. It actually does a lot of psychological harm and emotional harm to people because you can't step in and you know dictate and manage people's lives because you force them to put their lives on hold just because you're afraid that they're going to see something under that's inappropriate and from your perspective dangerous. It's got a lot of disastrous consequences in today's society. And actually, it's unintended consequences is blowback, right? So we think, okay, well, we're not going to do this, so we're going to intervene, and we actually motivate people to do worse things. It's the same with drugs. It's the same with anything and everything you can think of nowadays. But I'll let him get back into it, and we'll talk about it in just a minute.
the purpose behind it is censorship. The purpose is not think of the kids. The purpose is never think of the kids. Government, when it invokes the concept of protecting children, is almost always lying to you. It's almost always the case that it really just wants to be more authoritarian, and it's using kids and kid protection as an excuse. Even though those same governments, I notice, oftentimes throw open the borders so child molesters can come in, or they, ignore trafficking or something like that. I notice this. I'm a noticer now. Most of you have probably noticed this as well, by the way. So the UK's Online Safety Act, I think, should be blocked by the Trump administration. And it should be made clear that US firms they don't need to go along with that. They shouldn't go along with that. And that US individuals have the right to speak freely, to interact with content freely, and so forth. Because this has just become completely ridiculous at this point. That's about all. Peace out.
This has been, like I said, they move in stages. So this has been something that's been in the works for a while. I know several years ago, they gave up the domain registry information systems that was located in the United States to the United Nations. And actually, Stefan Molyneux made a big fuss about this. Like I said before, they're really dedicated to moving very slowly, very glacially, in order to, let this pass in the background with as little fuss as possible. Um, as for the think of the children, that is one of their bread and butter tactics. People say, "Oh, well, you're pro pedophile." No, this is just another mechanism for them to just barely escape by the skin of their teeth, while people aren't focusing on beyond the very focused emotional reaction that they're creating. They're cultivating an issue in order to scapegoat somebody else, in order to pitch their solution to the problem that they created. It's certainly not something that's going to be fought and fixed overnight, but the broader trend here is that this is all about censorship in the bigger picture. Censorship first, they didn't really have a lot of motivation to you had to have an ID. Then well, if you have an email, well, we need to see a phone number to associate with, and as a recovery. And then after that, well, we need an ID. Oh, you're going to buy something on our platform. We need an ID. Obviously, there's some they take these legitimate sounding ideas and concepts, and they move it, like I said, glacially, in order to, at a snail's pace, justify their intervention. And each intervention calls for more control because of more consequences. And it's pitching, and it's pitching an idea, a reaction, and for them to react, counter react. And they call that the Hegelian dialect. So when you see things like this, realize it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And like I said, it's not just YouTube, it's not just Wikipedia. There is a hold on just a second, I just saw a post on X about this. Let me go and pull up the screen. Breaking: Zoomers cannot adjust their NVIDIA graphics card settings on their gaming PCs anymore because they aren't 18 thanks to the Online Safety Act. And you got an image here. What the fuck? I have to be 18 to use my fucking NVIDIA app now? And this is only going to get worse. At the end of the day, the more centralized that they try to create the internet, the more motivation they have for people to wiggle out, try to get out from underneath the boot of the state. And that's a good thing, but also a bad thing, because that gives them anticipation and they probably have, it's like six said at the very beginning of the video. More people are looking up VPNs. Okay, well, we can justify banning VPNs, which means that they can also justify banning websites, which they've already started doing. They did that with the deep web first. Now they're doing it on what's called the clear net, just like regular websites people visit from Google.com and or any other search engine. And Google's the most common name that everybody uses. Another thing that really this is helping focus on to better grasp and understand is that they're going after the crypto people by doing this, because if they can require certain people to have IDs for websites, they can require at some point, Microsoft has been pushing for their software to be delivered only through the Windows Store, instead of going and finding it wherever you usually find your software hosted. Like, I know back in the day, I used a website called After Dawn, and it's still around. It's not as updated. It's kind of a slower news website, but they hosted independently different software packages and stuff like that. And everyone's heard of like not 4chan, where, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank, where you go and sorry, let me look it up. Hold on a second. Open source software host, GitHub. Yeah, GitHub. They can require an ID for GitHub. If you're using this software, what are you using this software for? Okay, well, we think that's dangerous, so we're gonna go and investigate you and see what you've been doing on your computer, and we're gonna monitor your computer. Oh, you've been using, Monero? What's that for? OpenXMR? What's that? Are you paying your taxes on your purchases? Okay. Why aren't you using, the Bitcoin Core, Lightning Network that everybody keeps bitching about, saying that it's only 6 months away, 6 weeks ago, whatever. It's been several years since that debate that Roger Ver had with Tony Vays that we covered in another episode. This is just a slow, steady creep from one thing to the next. Eventually, it's going to be no different than, going to a brick and mortar website is to going on your computer in your house. You just don't have any rights in a situation like this because they're grandfathering your rights. They're stealing your rights slowly and meticulously. And I don't keep repeating it, but you have to repeat it in a situation like this. Another thing that maybe you don't know about is Microsoft. They've got this new implementation. Sorry, called. They moved it on, but I'm trying to remember what it's called. Copilot. Yeah, Copilot. In Copilot, they're taking screenshots of. You can disable this, obviously, but right now it's enabled by default. You can take screenshots, and you can go and search, use a text string, type in pink bear, right? So you're looking up a pink teddy bear on Google Images. Again, like I said, this is the default one everyone knows about. You can go back and type that in on your computer, and it'll go back to a screenshot that you saved on your computer, or that it saved automatically on your computer. It's just, you have no rights. You have, under the current regime, under the current psychology of our governing model, they want to know anything and everything that they can find about who is doing what and when and where and why. And they say it's for your protection, but it's really for their protection, because they're afraid to give up power. They're afraid to give people their independence and their privacy. Oh man. Another thing that probably doesn't come to mind, speaking of the Copilot, is that when you do stuff like that, if you ever are on the internet, like with a COBOL, but it's on like Ledger Live, if you show your private C phrases and stuff like that, it's going to, they can go and type in, I guess, seed phrase or ledger live, and they can go and look at the screenshots the Copilot has established when it records on your Windows computer, and they could find your private seed phrase or your private key, and they can take your crypto, and they can say, well, you weren't a good actor, you were a bad actor because you weren't interested in participating in our regulated environment. And that's obviously very dangerous. The IRS has actually come out and they said they've got articles. I probably could find it. Hold on just a second. Basically saying that they know who has what on their Windows computer. Just a second. Let's see. Like I said, it's just me doing this episode today, so. Well. Sorry. I'm trying to find it real quick. Here you go. Well, I can't seem to find it on the search engine, but I've seen the articles myself, so I don't know. It's definitely something you should be concerned about if you're interested in your own privacy. And there is no privacy, there are no rights anymore. You just be lucky that you haven't gone to jail for something that they've deemed irresponsible, or whatever excuse that they have to crack down on the things that they don't like. It's definitely getting more and more outrageous with their behavior. And knowing the way that things are in Britain right now and in Europe, it is definitely going to keep moving in a more draconian fashion, because the culture in Britain is very docile. They're very much interested in not actually raising. They're interested in the cage. They're not interested in being independent from their government. They want to be told what to do. I don't know what's going to happen from here. I really doubt Donald Trump is going to make a move about this, but I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I don't know. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Again, this is just me for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed just hanging out with me, and let me know what's going on. This is Andrew Joseph, Mr. Baldhead, going out. Peace.
Bitcoin, baby.
Hey, yeah, this is Bitcoin. I'm back. The king of the rap shit. I'm back in this Bitcoin, baby. I'm back in this bitch. Flossing fast cars and rolling with my clique. The king of the rap shit, the real OG. Whack-ass rappers got nothing on me. Bought another Lambo, 3 hoes inside it. 10 hoes in line, ready to ride it. It's Bitcoin, bitch. Keep the track bumping. Really on the plug. I got pies in the oven. 80 years old, and your baby mama fond of me. All she wanna do is smoke my broccoli. Private jets from Rome to Ibiza. Lisa, Jenny, Julie, and Maria. Every day I gotta give thanks. I got Bitcoins in the bank. Bitcoin, baby. I'm back in this bitch.
Bitcoin, baby.
Dope is Stanley.
Oh.
I'm a bad motherfucker.
Bitcoin, baby.
The king of the rap shit. I'm back in this bitch. Axe your grandmother. Verse 2, coming with the gin and the juice. Call me a dragon. Spit flame in the booth. I'm hot, like a thermos full of coffee. So hot, can't get the hose off me. It's true, I got the weed card and shit. I'm smoking like a motherfucking chimney, kid. Bitches love me, my shit's never whack. Tell these motherfuckers Bitcoin's back.
Bitcoin, baby.
I'm a bad motherfucker.
Hot like hot coffee. Oh.
Axe your grandmother.
Surprise, motherfucker.
The king of the rap shit. I'm back in this bitch.
Get your hands in the air. Put your hands on the car. Put your 2 hands on the rock. Put your 2 hands on the road.
Bitcoin, baby.